I'm a little tired. I just traveled for 4 days and then I pulled an all-nighter last night, so I apologize for my lack of energy, but I will make up for it with my seductively deep voice caused by being on the brink of laryngitis. That being said, I like node-based programming a lot, especially in regards to audio and visual programming, and while most developers poo-poo it, I do find it really useful to be able to see your entire project right in front of your face. Of course, it's not as powerful or as efficient as coding is, but there are a lot of things that you don't need low-level programming to accomplish. Unity or Unreal game engines are a great example of this. You can build an entire original video game without coding and just connecting nodes. So when a gentleman in Budapest named Balázs contacted me about an upcoming node-based VST, I was really eager to check it out. And I was so impressed that I feel like I need to show it off. So let's have a quick look at the software ironically named Alpha Forever. So Balázs and his brother have been working on this personal project for years and never really expected it to be more than a labor of love. Hence the name Alpha Forever. But lucky for us, they realized that they were onto something and expect to formally announce and perhaps release it early next year. For the record, I'm not affiliated with this project in any way beyond it appearing in my inbox and being really, really impressed with it. I asked if I could give my followers a peek and they told me to go for it. So while a zoomable, powerful node-based VST synthesizer is always welcome, two things really jumped out at me. The first being the DSP. I don't know how they did it, but this is some of the best sounding software I've ever heard. I actually cannot hear the quality difference between this and my analog modular in the timbre of the filters, which is crazy. And additionally, Alpha Forever has a polyphonic mode, so you're not stuck in mono like you are with Reactor blocks, or at least you don't have to improvise weird methods to get notes to overlap like you do there. So let's just dive right in. I'm going to remind you that the software is in alpha, and not like Steam Early Access Alpha. This is not a public alpha. This is not a public beta. This isn't for show yet. This is just something they shared with me. And so the interface might change a little bit, or things might even get more intuitive, which would be welcome because it probably took me about half an hour to get around the learning curve. But most of that half an hour was sort of emailing back and forth with the developer certain questions that I had because there isn't a help file yet because the software is not released yet, so there's no documentation. So to start, we have an effect mode and a polyphonic instrument mode. Polyphonic instrument mode means you have poly. Effect mode can either run as an effect or it can be a monophonic synthesizer or instrument or whatever you like. So we start off by, here's our little menu. These are all the different things we could put in here right now. And let's go with outputs. I'm going to create two outputs, and the way that I make these work with my audio interface is right click. For me, left click because I'm left-handed, but all right. So that's OL, OR, output left, output right. Let's create an oscillator. I'm just going to go with there's kind of a big one here it's a multi-oscillator. I'm going to go with MIDI in from my MIDI keyboard or my DAW, which in this case is FL Studio, is hopefully you figured out by now. Voltage goes into voltage, pitch goes into pitch, gate goes into gate. Another thing I need to mention is if I press T, I get to see what all of these things are. It kind of explains it instead of abbreviating. And then if I press T again, I actually get to see, I'm going to just press some keys. Well, we'll see that in a minute. But you actually get to see sort of a little like graph of what's happening with the voltage, or virtual voltage, which is pretty rad. I'm going to go with an ADSR. I'm going to make this is how many times have I already done this on this channel? Just made a simple synthesizer. This mixer is you can modulate things. So here's modulate mod 1. That's for the first channel. That means that it is acting as a voltage controlled amplifier. So ADSR goes into the first modulator. The gate goes into the ADSR. And then I will put in a filter, which is under filter. And we'll go to low pass filter going into the amplifier, and then our oscillator going into the low pass filter, and let's choose a saw. Okay, filter should be opened up, and I'm just gonna like play a loop here. Look at that, we have sound. Just random notes here. And we are in effect mode or monophonic mode. I'm going to make this lower actually. Okay, now listen to this filter. That's like the best. That's like the best DSP I've heard in so long. It's so beautiful. But that's how easy it is to make a simple synthesizer. So we already have a subtractive synth here. Let's add an LFO to something. Low frequency oscillator. I'm just going to go with the big one. Okay, so another thing to note that at first I didn't like this, and now I actually love it. Now I'm starting to see the purpose of it. So I'm just going to click on the output. I'm going to make a multiplier. That multiplier is going to go into the cutoff modulator of the synth. And then, so this is my LFO. And now in that mult, I'm just going to press 1, bink, and then I have this. And this is a constant. And so I'm going to put in 128, which is the maximum that you can sort of make a virtual voltage go. And so that'll multiply this so we get that signal loud and clear into the filter. And then we could actually just attenuate it with this knob over here. Okay, so also I'm moving at 103 BPM. So I also have the option of making the LFOs just follow the beat. Which is pretty rad, right? So expanding on this, I've made two sines, one saw. The sines are actually going through a multiplier, which is being controlled by a knob, so I could sort of pick the harmonic. And then the final oscillator is noise. And of course I have some reverb on the end. Hooray! So now we've moved on to polyphonic mode, and I have an LFO controlling the cutoff, and it's synced to the beat at 103 BPM. And then there's another LFO synced to the beat at 103 BPM that is resetting at every time the gate is hit, and it's actually changing the waveform of LFO 1. So you kind of have this sub-LFO controlling the actual LFO. I do like things a little more sloppy, so I've turned off the beat sync, and now in my master LFO, I've created a new LFO, and I've put in some constants, and that's a sine LFO controlling the frequency modulation of the master LFO. Let's hear that. Man, that filter sounds so good. I think it's very possible that this may be the first software version of maths that you could create that I would be happy with. So let's just, the gate can have a constant of 1, velocity can have a constant of, I don't know, let's say 50. That might be sufficient, I'm not sure. We'll find out in a moment. And then this can go into here. Ooh, that's nasty. Okay, so let's bring in two LFOs. And if anybody is familiar with Make Noise Maths, you'll know exactly why it would be an awesome thing to have a software version of Make Noise Maths, because it is so incredibly powerful. All right, let's... you know what? I'm going to create a multiplier. Again, this is again why I really love this system, is because you can just kind of create attenuators all over the place. So there is a multiplier that will go into here. The knob can also act as a mult. I don't know why I'm being a dummy about this, but FYI. So, it's gonna be so loud. I gotta figure out a way to like make this not as loud. Which, due to our awesome system here, I could just divide the master signal by 2, or let's try 4, so that way it'll be 25%. Or 16. Alright, there we go. Okay. So that's an LFO. Okay, so now like maths, we have 2 different LFOs, and we can actually kind of go nuts here. So frequency modulation coming from the second LFO. Oops. And again, I'm going to add another multiplier. And I'm going to add a knob here to attenuate it. It's probably the most annoying YouTube video I've ever, or you've ever seen. There we go. That's pretty much what maths does, and it's so incredibly powerful. Ugh. Alright, I'm satisfied. So yeah, we could pretty much make maths here. Alright, so here we have a full-on karplus-strong patch. Here is, okay, so, you know, in Reactor, you may know, you have things called macros that sort of help you organize. Here they're called designers, but you have the exact same concept with inlets and outlets, just like Reactor. And so, yeah, I mean, this could go fully modal here. We could edit the noise, the thing striking the strings to sound more bow-like. Could even get fluty if we wanted. There we go, that's airy. But I like that good old guitar sound. Alright, so this is Alpha Forever, and one thing that attracts me to this so much, beyond the amazing DSP sound, is right here you could see a fully workable physical modeling patch, and it's all right in front of your face here. It's not like a Reactor where you have to use a panel. Like if I'm working in Reactor and I want to make something from the ground up, I kind of have to then go into Reactor itself and work in the standalone, and then work on the interface, and then bring the interface into my session. Here, I've already like played with tracks and worked around with tracks in the week and a half where I've been playing with the software, and sort of intuitively was just like, oh yeah, okay, well, let's make this. And it's all right in front of my face, and I don't have to worry about making an interface, and I don't have to worry about labeling things quite as much as Reactor, and that just makes it more usable. It's sort of between a soft synth that you would use in every session and Reactor. It's somewhere in between there, and I really like that. That's powerful. And like I said, the polyphonic instrument mode is awesome. The fact that you could use that, and also just the DSP is incredible. And so I guess I just wanted to say awesome software, guys, and I'm really looking forward to the final version of Alpha Forever, and I wanted to share with my followers something that is coming that is going to be awesome from the looks of it. And if it offers any free promotion to the developers, that's really good too. I mean, because they deserve it. They've worked really hard on this, and I'm really, really impressed. So coming soon, I am getting used to and learning how to use a piece of gear that was sent to me that is really unique and something that I would never expect to be using, but I'm loving it. And also, I'm working on a much larger video project for this channel that kind of encompasses everything from audio weapons to sonic frequencies that vibrate your skull instead of your ear hairs. And that one obviously has taken a little while because I have a lot of science to go over. I want to be correct on everything, and I also have to find subjects to kind of torture and play with, and I'm maybe even do a double-blind study on some things. I want to do some real science on this channel, and that's what I'm aiming for. So I'm really excited about that, and getting that shot and getting that done. So again, if you learned anything, if you liked what you watch, subscribe to the channel and let me know in the comments if there's anything you want me to cover in the future. See you soon.